US amps. I love your hood wrap, by the way.
Appreciate it.
That does a lot to help
Advertise.
yeah, and just give you a little bit of an aftermarket flair. Guys, okay, so I took a ride in this thing, and it sounds like a CRX. So it's got really tight bass, punches you hard. Very impressive. That is cool.
And like I said, the white and the blues and the reds are all fluorescent, you can say, so they pop under the black light.
Right. All right, man, what how much power are we running back here?
Roughly 2,000 watts.
2,000 watts
Yeah,
argument?
2007, I think is what I did on the dyno. This is 2 ohm stereo.
So you're running it each sub on one channel.
Each sub
This
channel.
is a 2-channel amp.
2 channel length, correct.
I'm a big fan of orange.
We've got it.
So I dig the orange. That'd be a good color for a backer too. That orange.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. And then that's your little mids and highs amp.
Yep.
That's a nice little mids and highs amp.
Your JL Audio C1 160s in the front and back.
Ooh. Okay. Oh yeah, I see them in there. The camera's an amazing thing.
Oh yeah, yep.
You can see things your eye can't. And that's you run the tweeters too. Yep. Guys, those mids and highs sounded awesome. He's got lots of good solid mid bass in the front of that vehicle. I'm not sure how he's getting out of them doors, but he is. They sound great. Okay. Anything up here?
Not yet. It's getting worked on. I actually picked up another set of A-pillar trim pieces to send in to get some custom pods made based on your rig. You know, it kind of inspired me.
They are. It is cool. So we were talking earlier about how to build this up and make it look cool. So I'm going to tell you guys about what we were discussing, and y'all put it in the comments as to what you think is the coolest idea. I want to stress right now, I can't do much of anything to this thing to make it sound better. He is going to get a DSP and give him some more control, but and he also is going to do some A-pillar pods to get his sound stage a little higher. But the thing sounds great. It hits hard. It slams like a box of chocolates. Look, guys, that US amp ain't no joke. I've been very impressed with it. For what he's doing, it gets it down. So what we're looking at is ways to tidy things up and make it look a little bit more show quality, a little bit more of an appearance package. Right now the sound is on point. We just need to fix up the appearance a little bit. That's what we're talking about. Now the first one would be taking this package tray and copying it and creating an amp rack that folds up like the package tray, mounted here. It would lay down here, so it could be displayed either horizontal like this or stood up, so there could be an amp mounted underneath it or on top of it. Both options there. There could also be an amp mounted on a board underneath this that comes across the package tray covers, so keep that in mind. And the amp would be this guy. So that's the color spectrum. I'm thinking about that red, the black, and that orange. Those are the 3 colors. The orange is probably going to really make it pop. That Deglo orange. And he does repeat that on the box here. He's got some orange back here. May not come off as orange on the camera, but it is. So, ideas. Throw ideas out there on the in the comment section, and he'll be looking at the comments, so getting some ideas for himself. But that's what I proposed, and he'd already had some ideas that went along those same direction. Did you have any upgraded electrical right now up front?
Yes, I got a 250 amp alternator.
Can we get a look at your power plant? Oh, son, it's one of those situations where everything is buried.
Yep.
250.
250 amp at idle with 300 at 2,000 RPM.
All
Got the
right.
good GP. I don't know if you see that, but you got the GP
Terminal.
terminal right there.
Yeah, boy, that saved your butt right there.
Yeah, it did.
Getting that sucker in there. That's
Yeah, I
fairly-
upgraded to 04 4-aught.
alt gauge. It looks like
Yeah.
somebody. That is that's 440.
Yep.
That's 4 alt.
That's 4-aught. Yep.
Yeah. So you got 4 alt wire. That should take care of that. That's capable of carrying about 4 times what that alternator can produce.
Yep. Yep.
And that runs all the way back to the back.
To the back. Yep.
All right, and I don't see a fuse right here,
Nope. It's on the way.
but they don't necessarily have to be one on the alternator. But
So I've got a fuse back here.
you're stopping at the battery here, right?
No. It's a dedicated line all the way to the back.
Okay,
And I've
so
got, this is the factory harness. This is what plugs into the battery.
Mhm.
It charges the battery up front here, and then I've got that dedicated 4 going all the way
Okay.
to the back. It's
so
right here.
you need to be hitting the battery. Well, okay, so right now your alternator is charging via this wire.
No,
So
the bottom
it's
is
charging this battery,
that battery, correct.
and this battery is feeding. That battery is feeding the system via this wire also.
What system?
The power wire going off the alternator. I know you're saying, well, I'm using the alternator as dedicated run. I get that.
Yeah,
But the alternator is a 250 amp alternator.
right. And I got a little banger in the back. I got lithium in the back. So
That little one, but you're still going to call on this to provide extra power, and it's doing that through this. That's a weak spot, so you need to address this. That's a weak spot. You need a big wire connected from here to there,
okay.
because it's going to be calling on hundreds of amps from that battery, and if you're pulling them through here, especially if this is going through a fusible link, which I bet you it is. This is probably
This is a separate fusible link, but
yeah.
and that's coming down here off of this.
The
one.
reason I'm asking, I'm not pointing this. I'm not trying to pick on you.
No, no, no.
The reason I'm pointing this out is that that's pulling power from that battery through this wire, through a fusible link, which there may be one in this little coupler right here, but you'll wind up blowing that link, and then you're going to have to replace it. And that's going to be 40, 50, 60, 70 bucks or more. So it is going to be calling on power from here. It is doing that. You just haven't given it enough of a need yet.
I got you.
So just as this is a thing,
Right.
yeah, it's a thing. You need a big wire going from the alternator to this battery, as well as that wire going from the alternator to the back. So if you're on the right track, you just need to add a branch over to that battery. So, all right, my people will absolutely call me out on that if I hadn't said anything. They would notice it. And this is your ground right now, grounded body. Where are you picking up ground in the back?
There's a lug underneath, and it's four.
Okay.
We can see it back there on the
Okay.
board.
I would also do this. Come off of,
That doesn't have a grounding lug on it. It's grounded
I
through
know.
the chassis. Yeah.
come off of this bolt right here, just attaching this mount off of that,
Yeah.
and come over this way and around with a ground cable, and come around here and put it right here,
Okay.
and then run a separate little stab over to your body. Because if you're pulling your ground off your body right now,
Yep.
you've got a 4 alt gauge power wire, but this is what you're pulling power through. This right here. And it's not terrible, but this is your limiter.
Right, I got you.
You know, if you're running, this is like less than what a 2 gauge would be.
Okay.
And I don't mean a 2 alt gauge.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's pretty significant. So this is a weak link too. There's some little spots that need some addressing. But you know, we all have to start somewhere. But you're on the right track. You don't have to replace anything you've already done. That's always a big plus, right? Because you've already done a good thing.
Right, right.
You just need to do more things alongside it. Whenever you have to go back and change something you've already done, that sucks. But right now, you just need to continue forward. Now, at this point, I'm just trying to give advice as to how to proceed with making the overall wiring a little better. I don't want to come across as just picking your build apart, okay? Because that's how I usually do. I usually come across as just nitpicking everything, or, you know, that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is offer constructive criticism. And since I know this build is fairly new, and this whole setup is fairly new, and this man is very knowledgeable in the department, he's just been working his way up to getting things the way he wants them to be. And so far, he's on the right track. He just needs to add a few more bits to that engine bay and get it 100%. It'll be nice. And I know you're getting the power, and honestly, at, you know, around 200 amps, you're probably getting that through the wiring, but it's stressful on this wiring. And I'm also concerned about this whole run not being fused. So you could incorporate a fuse here. So you could run a distribution block instead of a regular block, a fused block, and fuse to your alternator and fuse to your battery. You could do something else. You know, you just want to add a fuse, and if you're adding a fuse, you could also use that time to add the other runs you need.
Right, right.
To consider where to put all that. US Amps does have a fuse block.
Yep.
That is a logoed nice fuse block.
Yep.
So this would be the place where you'd put that.
Yep.
You could do the power wire up here that runs over and do that, sleeve it in orange, that same color orange.
Yeah.
That would give you a splash of color up here. That would help tie it together. And then when you connect your ground wire, add an orange heat shrink on that and tidy that up. It would be a clean orange line block. Done.
And I guess GP sells orange cable, right?
I think so. But you can use sleeving. That's what I use.
Oh, okay.
Sleeving is cheap as hell.
Yeah.
Cheap. And you can do amazing things with sleeving. You can also change it if you want. So
yeah, sleeving, I got you.
Now, guys, I just want to point out that he's holding voltage really well. I never saw him dip below 12.5, and he was giving me some hard demos. He's got a lithium in the back there, which he's able to pull from. So the bulk of his hard hits are hitting on that lithium, but it's still pulling from that front battery as well as the alternator, of course. And the alternator's got to charge that, but she's got a dedicated 4 alt gauge run back there to charge that back battery, and that's excellent. What I was pointing out was that some power is going to get pulled from that front battery as well, and that's going to have to go through a very small wire. I was more concerned about him blowing his fusible link and also possibly overtaxing that wire when it goes to pulling, because it's like an 8 gauge. And don't want to see anything bad like that happen. Also, one of the other things I was trying to do was help him arrange a better looking, more show-worthy kind of setup in the front. Something that's nice and clean, not too crazy, but has a little bit of bling factor, and can carry current a little better. Now, the ground situation is something that we need to address. Even though he's able to get a good ground back there, I still think we need to do a few modifications to that. And primarily, he come by to show me the ride, let me hear it, which I did, and it sounds really, really good. Excellent setup. And also to get some ideas on how to improve on the overall aesthetic build and some little tweaks here and there. And I give him some of that information, trying to work with him to help him get it up to a position to where it's a really good
show build. And he's a working guy like me, so he's doing paycheck to paycheck kind of stuff. And, you know, it just takes time. So right now we're kind of in the idea phase and trying to make a few tweaks here and there. But it's going to be really cool. You guys keep track on it. We'll get some more video of it as we get more stuff done. But hell of a nice guy, nice amps, and a nice car. Very nice build.